If you've been walking after meals thinking you're burning fat, you might actually be training your body to store more of it. Yeah, that healthy habit everyone recommends? It could be the exact reason your belly isn't going down, or worse, slowly getting bigger. And the scary part is, you don't feel it happening. No pain, no warning, just subtle changes. Your jeans feel tighter, your stomach looks a little softer, and you keep telling yourself, but I'm doing everything right. You eat clean, you stay active, you even walk after meals like all those fitness tips suggest. So why is nothing changing? Or even worse, why does it feel like your body is working against you? Here's what most people don't realize. Your body doesn't just care what you do. It cares when you do it. And timing changes everything. Because right after you eat, your body switches into a completely different mode. One that most people never think about. A mode where fat burning slows down and storage quietly speeds up. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. If you're walking at the wrong time, at the wrong pace, right after the wrong kind of meal, you could be sending your body the exact signal it needs to hold on to belly fat, not burn it. And this isn't some extreme case. This is happening to regular people. People who believe they're being disciplined. People like you. But wait, it gets worse. There's a small detail, something almost no one talks about, that completely flips the effect of walking. Change this one thing, and your body responds very differently. Ignore it, and you stay stuck. So before you go for your next healthy walk after eating, you need to understand what your body is actually doing behind the scenes. Because once you see this, you'll never look at post-meal walking the same way again. You've probably built this habit without even thinking about it. You finish a meal, maybe lunch, maybe dinner, and almost automatically, you tell yourself, let me go for a walk. It's healthy. It feels right. It feels productive. It feels like you're doing something good for your body. And honestly, you are, but not in the way you think. Because here's the problem. Your body doesn't operate based on intentions. It operates based on signals. And right after you eat, your body is sending and receiving very specific signals that completely change how it uses energy. This is the part most people never consider. You assume movement equals fat loss, but your body is asking a different question. What state am I in right now? Am I in storage mode or am I in burning mode? And right after eating, your body is almost always leaning towards storage. Now here's where it gets personal. You've probably noticed something like this before, even if you didn't connect it. You eat a decent meal. You go for a light walk. You feel good for a bit, but later, you still feel heavy, sometimes bloated, sometimes even hungrier than expected. And over time, your belly doesn't change much. That's not random. That's your body responding to a pattern. And this is where things start to get interesting. Because walking itself isn't the issue. In fact, it can be incredibly powerful for your health. But the timing, intensity, and context of that walk can either help your body burn fat or quietly push it in the opposite direction. And the difference between those two outcomes is much smaller than you think. So if you've been doing everything right, but not seeing results, there's a strong chance it's not about effort. It's about understanding what your body is actually doing in those moments right after you eat. Section 1. The hidden state your body enters after eating. Right after you finish eating, something shifts inside your body. Instantly, not visibly, not dramatically, but biologically, everything changes. Your body moves into what you can think of as processing mode. And here's where it gets interesting. This mode is not designed for fat burning. It's designed for handling incoming energy. Now imagine this for a second. You just ate a meal. Maybe rice, bread, chicken, maybe even something healthy. To you, it's just food. But to your body, it's a flood of incoming fuel. Glucose enters your bloodstream. Insulin rises. Your body starts asking one simple question. Where do I put all this? And this is where most people go wrong. Because they think, if I move right now, I'll burn this off. Sounds logical. But your body doesn't immediately switch to fat burning just because you started walking. In fact, it often does the opposite. Because insulin is elevated, your body is temporarily less interested in burning stored fat. Instead, it prioritizes using the energy you just ate, storing excess for later. That later often becomes belly fat. Now here's the twist. Walking after eating doesn't cancel this process. It simply happens alongside it. So instead of tapping into stored fat, your body is mostly dealing with the meal you just consumed, which means that slow, comfortable walk you think is burning fat, it's mostly just helping your body process food, not reduce fat. And this is where things get subtle. Because you still feel like you're doing something good. You're moving. You're not sitting. You feel lighter. But internally, fat burning is still on pause. And this is the part no one talks about. You're not doing something bad, but you might be doing something inefficient for your goal. Now let's make this real. Think about someone who eats dinner, goes for a relaxed 10-15-minute walk, comes back, sits down, maybe snacks again. They repeat this daily. They feel disciplined, but weeks pass, and the belly doesn't shrink. Why? Because their body never really enters a strong fat-burning state. It stays in this cycle of eat, process light movement, store, repeat. And here's where it gets worse. If that meal is high in refined carbs or sugar, the insulin spike is even stronger, which means fat burning is suppressed even more. So now, your healthy walk is happening at the exact time your body is least interested in burning fat. But wait, this isn't even the biggest issue yet, because what most people don't realize is it's not just when you walk, it's also how you walk. Section 2. Why your relaxed walk might be useless for fat loss. Let's be honest about how most people walk after eating. It's slow, comfortable, almost lazy. You're not sweating, you're not breathing heavily. You're just strolling. And that feels right, doesn't it? Because you just ate. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. But here's the problem. Your body treats different types of movement very differently. A slow walk sends one signal. A slightly faster, intentional walk sends another. And the difference between those two is the difference between maintenance and fat loss. Here's where it gets interesting. That slow post-meal walk is often too light to trigger meaningful fat burning, especially when insulin is already elevated. So what happens? Your body stays in a kind of neutral zone, not storing aggressively, but not burning much either, just maintaining. And this is dangerous in a subtle way, because you feel like you're progressing, but you're actually just staying in place. Now this is where most people go wrong. They assume all movement is equal, but your body is constantly deciding, do I need to tap into stored energy or not? And if the movement isn't demanding enough, the answer is usually, no. I'll just use what's already available, which, right after eating, is your recent meal. So, again, fat burning stays low. Now let's make this personal. You've probably experienced this without realizing it. You go for a relaxed walk after dinner. You come back feeling good, but over time, your body composition doesn't change. Or worse, you slowly gain fat. Even though you're active, that's not because walking is bad. It's because the intensity doesn't match your goal. And here's the part no one tells you. Your body needs a reason to burn fat. It doesn't just happen because you moved a little. It happens when your body senses energy demand, lower insulin, need for stored fuel. Without those conditions, fat burning stays limited. And this is where things start to shift, because once you understand this, you realize something powerful. It's not about walking more. It's about walking smarter. But even that isn't enough, because there's another layer to this, one that most people completely ignore. Section 3. The timing mistake that changes everything. Here's a simple question. What if the problem isn't walking after eating, but walking too soon after eating? This is where things start to flip. Because your body doesn't instantly process a meal, digestion takes time. Hormones shift gradually. Energy moves through phases. But most people, they stand up right after finishing their last bite and start walking within minutes. And this is where things go wrong. Right at that moment, your body is directing blood flow to digestion, managing nutrient absorption, increasing insulin. It's focused inward. Now suddenly, you introduce movement, not intense movement, just light walking. But even that creates a small conflict. Your body now has to divide attention between digesting food, supporting movement. And here's the key insight. Neither process is optimized. Digestion isn't at its best. Fat burning isn't activated. You're stuck in a kind of in-between state. Now, here's where it gets worse. Walking too soon after eating can also lead to bloating, sluggish digestion, discomfort. You might have felt this. That heavy feeling in your stomach, that slight pressure, that weird mix of full plus tired. That's your body telling you, I'm not ready for this yet. But wait, this changes everything. Because if you shift the timing slightly, the entire outcome changes. Instead of walking immediately, you wait 20-30 minutes. Now your body has started digestion, stabilized slightly, begun processing nutrients. Then you walk. Now your body is in a better position to use circulating energy efficiently, gradually shift toward fat utilization. Same walk, different timing, completely different effect. And this is the part most people miss. They focus on the habit, but ignore the timing. And timing is what controls the signal. Now imagine this shift. Instead of eat, walk, immediately, you do eat, pause, walk with intention. Suddenly, your body responds differently. You feel lighter, less bloated, more energized. And over time, this small change compounds. But we're still not at the biggest insight yet, because there's one more layer. And this one explains why some people see results, and others stay stuck no matter what they do. Section 4. The real secret. When walking actually burns belly fat. Here's the truth most people never hear. The best time to walk for fat loss is often not after eating at all. Yeah, this flips everything. Because your body burns fat most effectively when insulin is lower, energy demand is present, stored fuel is needed. And that usually happens when you're in a more fasted or semi-fasted state. Now, this doesn't mean you need to starve yourself, but it does mean your body needs the right conditions to tap into fat. Walking before meals, especially before breakfast or lunch, can be far more effective for fat loss than walking right after eating. Why? Because your body doesn't have immediate fuel available, so it starts pulling from stored energy, including fat. Now, let's make this real again. Two people. Person A eats dinner, walks slowly right after. Person B walks before eating, or waits and walks later with more intensity. Same activity, completely different results. Person A feels active, but sees little change. Person B starts noticing leaner waist, better energy, more consistent fat loss. And here's the key difference. It's not effort, it's timing plus state. Now this is where it all connects. Walking after eating isn't bad, but if your goal is belly fat loss, it's often not the most effective tool in that moment. And if done incorrectly, too soon, too slow, after heavy meals, it can keep you stuck in a cycle where fat loss is minimal, not because you're lazy, but because your body is responding exactly as it's designed to. And once you understand this, you stop guessing, you stop blindly following advice, and you start working with your body, not against it. So when you step back and look at everything, it's not that walking after eating is bad. It's that most people are using it at the wrong time, in the wrong way, for the wrong goal. And your body is simply responding to the signals you're giving it. Right after eating, your system shifts into processing mode. Insulin rises. Fat burning slows. So that slow, comfortable walk you trust, it's not really targeting the fat you're trying to lose, especially around your belly. But here's the good part. This is an easy fix. You don't need extreme workouts. You don't need complicated diets. You just need to adjust the timing and intention. Wait a little after eating. Move with purpose, not just habit. And when possible, walk when your body is actually ready to burn fat, not store energy. Because once you align your movement with your body's natural state, everything starts to feel different. You feel lighter, less bloated, more in control. And over time, that stubborn belly fat finally starts responding. Not because you did more, but because you did it at the right moment. If this made you rethink something you've been doing every day, that's a good sign. Small shifts like this can make a bigger difference than you expect over time. If you're interested in understanding how your body actually works, not just following random advice, you'll probably enjoy the next videos on this channel. Consider subscribing if you want simple, real explanations about fat loss, fasting, and body signals, without the noise.